Hi guys. So I never ever do these videos, but I wanted to share with you guys something that's been on my mind for the past few weeks, and I wasn't sure what direction this idea was going with me, but after this past week I feel like I have like a different perspective of this whole idea, and I wanted to share it with you guys. So on Shavuos, I was thinking how since the beginning of the war, everyone has been saying Biachad Netzach, and I was thinking how every Sfira needs its counterpart Sfira in order to really hold and fulfill its potential. So the counter Sfira for Netzach is Hod. So I was thinking how we maybe need to incorporate Hod into this war in order to actually be successful and win the war. So on Shavuos, I had gone to a shir, and I asked the person giving the shir what she thinks about this idea, and she said to me, I think you need to focus more on the biachad part. And I felt like she didn't really understand what my question was. So I came home and I said to Ezra, I said, I feel like we need to add Hod into this whole biachad and Netzach part of the war in order to really win the war. And he said, well, that's actually so funny, because I think I read somewhere that it says Netzach and Hod are Naomi and Russ. And I was like, oh, well, that's actually pretty crazy. And that's pretty, cool if that's real. But that would mean that then Boaz is Yisod, and obviously David is Malchus. So I got really excited about this idea, and if anyone could figure out where it says that, let me know. Thank you. And so then in the afternoon, I went to the shir that my Rav was giving, and I asked him this whole concept and this whole idea, and he said, I don't know about Naomi and Russ, but Boaz is for sure Yisod. So I was like, okay, great, I'm gonna go then with Naomi and Russ being Hod and Yisod, Hod and Netzach. Anyways, I didn't really know what this meant, so I started doing some research. I was looking into Talmud Devorah, Netzach and Hod. What are the alignments in Talmud Devorah of Netzach and Hod? Said a few interesting things. But I found this book that I had bought for Sfiras Omer, and I'm going to just read to you guys a few of the words that the author describes Netzach, and then I'll tell you a few of the words he describes Hod, to give you an idea of the meaning behind Netzach and Hod. Netzach, endurance, fortitude, ambition, to be driven and fight for a healthy goal. It is an energy that comes from within, like an engine, productive, moving forward, and Netzach and Hod are the lower body. So we know the first three Sfiros. Keter, Chachma, Bina is the head. The other three Sfiros are the emotional side, and then Netzach, Hod, and Yisod are like the productivity part of the Sfiros in the body. Okay, Hod. Humility, splendor. It gives Netzach direction. Restraint, to recognize Hashem is in control. So when we have restraint and we make ourselves the ones that aren't in control, then we give HaKadosh Baruch Hu the availability to be in control. Keeps us modest and humble. We see how small we are, and then we're able to recognize how big HaKadosh Baruch Hu is, and that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is in control. And then through that, recognizing that Hashem is in control and Hashem does everything that's for the best for us, then we could have Hoda'at HaKadosh Baruch Hu. So these, for me, were an unbelievable description of Netzach and Hod. So we've been so focused on the Netzach part, which was crucial to winning this war. We had to survive, and we had to fight, and we had to defend ourselves. I feel like now, in order to end this war and bring it to the home front, we need to add the Hod. And in order to actualize the potential of the Netzach, we need the balance of the Hod. And when we're able, when we are like, when we retract ourselves from thinking that we're the one that's winning this war, when we retract, then we become a vessel, a bigger vessel to hold HaKadosh Baruch Hu inside of us. So this is the idea that I've been sort of processing. And then the entire time I feel like, oh my gosh, I'm missing like something. Like I'm missing something. Like what am I missing? I couldn't like figure out what was it that was like the ingredient that was missing in this whole mix until I lived this past week. And then I all of a sudden was like, I mean, not all of a sudden, because I couldn't breathe and think and live for a little bit. But when I was able to reground myself, I realized, I think I figured out what that ingredient was. So this past week, I've had family and friends from all over the world, like both sides of the world, call me, message me, check in on me. And people who are living in the war themselves were focused on checking in on me. I have a friend in America who calls me every single day, every single morning, her morning on her way to work to check in on me. Every single morning. And then yesterday was supposed to be Noah's Bas Mitzvah. And this girl moved to Eretz Yisrael, and 5 weeks later the war broke out. And she was so distraught and scared and dysregulated. She's been looking forward to her Bas Mitzvah for a year and a half. She has not stopped talking about it. We're ready to kill her. And then her father, on his plane, turns around, goes back to America, and her Bas Mitzvah gets canceled. And every day she's in a bomb shelter, and she's scared for her life. And then everyone showed up to make her feel special and loved, and to make her feel valued as a person. And they're all struggling with doing Zoom classes for their kids. All the kids are home, all the kids are scared, all the kids are dysregulated. And they all stopped everything they were doing to come and show Noah love. Friends, teachers, family, the acres. And it was just an unbelievable hug from Hashem to see the love and support. And then on a personal level, for me, for the past few months, I was thinking to myself how I've become so dependent on my husband and Ezra throughout the war. And I was like, I want to be dependent on Hashem. I don't want to be dependent on Ezra. Like, my tafkid is to be dependent on Hashem. That's the whole point of this war, for me to grow closer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. I said this in all of my speeches in the summer. Like, Hashem, I'm petrified, and I know that this is an opportunity for me, like Rav Nachman says, to come closer to you. And I want to become closer to you. And HaKadosh Baruch Hu heard me, because Hashem is Hashem. And he heard the voices and conversations in my head. And he's like, okay, Esty, I'm going to give you that opportunity. And he sent me this test that in a time where Israel is being literally bombed and destroyed, and it's scary. I am home alone with my kids for a whole extra week, and I am relying on HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and I'm leaning on HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And I think that was the key ingredient that I was missing in this whole concept. That in my head, I understood that we have the Netzach part. We have the part where we have to have the endurance and we have to fight for our lives. But now we have to add the Hod, and the Hod is retracting and making space for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, surrendering to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and having humility and making ourselves smaller to bring more of HaKadosh Baruch Hu into our lives. And when we do this, I'm going to read from my paper because I don't want to mess it up. To surrender to HaKadosh Baruch Hu and have humility, which will lead us to have a clearer picture of reality and a clearer picture of who we are ourselves. And then we become an expanded vessel to fill with more of Hashem's Kedusha. The bracha in Shmona Esrei that is connected to Hod is, I can't make this up, Kibbutz Galias. I'm going to read it. Tzika b'shofar gadol l'chereseinu, v'sanes l'kabitz galuseinu, v'kaptenu yachad mehiram arba kanfos haaretz la'aretzenu, baruch atah Hashem, mekabetz nidchei Ama Yisrael. Sound the great shofar of our liberation, and raise a banner to gather our exiles, and gather us together quickly from the four corners of the earth into our land. Blessed are you, transcendent one, gatherer of the dispersed people of Israel. So may we be zocheh to bringing more Hod to the Netzach. When we have the Netzach and the Hod, they are compared to the feet of the body. They stand stronger together when you have both of them, the Netzach and the Hod. They fulfill more potential when we have the Hod with the Netzach, not the Netzach alone. So may we be zocheh to having two strong feet moving us forward to the Yisod and then to the Malchus, which is B'mehera v'yameinu Mashiach. Thank you guys for hearing me out. And again, I just want to thank everyone who checked in and gave me so much love and support. I've never felt this in my entire life. And the Ramak says that when we bring into our lives midos and chesed, and we incorporate them more and put them out them in the world, the sparks that we create by doing those mitzvos and strengthening those midos inside of us, it sort of creates those sparks all over the world. It's not just where we are. So you could be sitting in Sackett Lake on your porch and doing something amazing, and that could help a Jew in Dubai. So maybe be zocha to spread the sparks all over the world and to bring Mashiach really fast, because I think we all need it. Have a great Shabbos.